You'll join me in the pledge?
I pledge
Pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
flag
of
of the United States of America,
the republic,
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, everyone.
Evening.
Welcome to the steamy August meeting of the Philipstown Town Board. Claudio, are you ready?
I am ready. I
Okay.
think you call the meeting to order first.
Okay, I ascertain we have a quorum, so I'll call the meeting of the Philipstown Depot Theater Incorporated to order.
All right. I would like to nominate Peter Wells to membership in the board.
Peter Weed,
Peter Weed.
yes.
Peter Weed, he's an architect, lives in Garrison. I believe you've seen his resume.
Yeah, he's a great guy too. Love him. So,
So I make that motion.
could I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Peter, thank you very much for volunteering to serve on the Philipstown Depot Theater. Claudio, is there anything else?
Yes, make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, could I get a motion to adjourn?
Second. Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thanks, Claudio.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Have a
Well-
good night.
Claudio.
Take care.
Okay. Approval of minutes. The monthly town board meeting of July 9th, 2020.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote aye. Public hearing of July 9th, 2020.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Thank you. Committee reports, Conservation Board.
Okay, the Conservation Board met on July 14th and August 11th. The first presentation was the Hudson Highlands Land Trust discussed the estuary program. This is involved with a short presentation regarding water quality flow, involved both fish, wildlife, development, and health. Also, the existing potential breeding interferences as well. Went into some depth in regards to the conduits and bridges that exist in towns. It also included some of the dam eliminations where possible, as they are obviously have those impacts on the above, which I just mentioned. They're modeling some of the storm capacity with Cornell in connection with the 2050 climate smart milestones established. The study was dealing, obviously, of course, with road crossings, culvert design, flow, and so forth. They went into some detail in regards to some towns currently doing evaluations, culvert deterioration, especially at the bases, road integrity issues. They also briefly said, and this was during the July month, that they had already done 16 culvert evaluations in Philipstown, and they would notify the Hudson Highlands Land Trust when they reach the 50-cent completion mark and be able to provide us with any important details regarding their findings. And they also said that there would be available volunteer field trips and training in the future, and some of the Conservation Board members just mentioned some interest in that. Another thing on the agenda was the 16 Oxyoke Road. This is an ongoing issue regarding 2 violations brought back. They brought back Cronin Engineering. They basically dropped out after the first meeting, and we were advised just prior to the August meeting that Beatty Watson would continue the reviews, all right, regarding the applications. The problem with this application more than anything else is while the applicant took some positive steps forward, they also went against with clear recommendation in the Conservation Board and not removal of trees and fulfilling actual ground areas as well. This necessitated an actual stop work order. And in fact, so some of the discussions we will have with them in the future is regarding possible restorations to the area, although you can't put back a 70-foot tree. We'll have to take a look at whatever proactive actions happen there. Of course, also be actions happening in regards to the courts as well. The other thing on the agenda was 2, 4, 6, and not 8, Hudson River Lane. This in regards to a 380-foot shoreline. This is all in need of repair. There's 250 feet of this, which is actual stone wall. The engineer provided the actual showing of the stone wall and its detail at low tide, which is when the work will take place. They also said they're replacing gangway and floating dock. These will be seasonal installation only. There is no footprint changes from the original. They'll be restacking stones. Some of the gaps, which are obviously very noticeable in there, was as much as 3 feet. The stone wall in areas as well was unstable, and this was over 6 feet in height. So obviously that gets involved with not just stability that way, but safety issues. Concrete sections will be repaired, and foundation erosions were evident there as well at the base. They have received a DEC permit already, and the Army Corps of Engineers permit is pending. The CB was very satisfied with the presentation and the work planned and how it will be done. And they went ahead and voted for a conditional permit based on the approval of the Army Corps of Engineers. The group also mentioned that we noticed that we had a lack of gypsy moths this year. The feeling was because of the fact that they were so intense in some previous years that we're getting a break. So we might as well enjoy it while we can. I want to thank Bob Repetto and Andy Galler for attending the Headwater Stream put on by the New York State DC. Also Hudsonian was in there as well. This involved a lot of treatments, threats to waterways and streams, mapping and so forth, and also federal and state regulations. This will count for 6 hours of training for this year and next year for them. I was on as an alternate, but they had enough people who were actually members of the Conservation Board, so that's good. So hopefully, since there were more people that wanted to get in that could get in, they'll have that in the future as well. And the next meeting is September 8th. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Recreation. Judy, you got to unmute.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Good evening. Recreation did not have a July meeting, but there was a successful drive-in show of the film Back to the Future at the Rec Center on July 31st. It was sold out. And thank you to all the volunteers and the people and the friends of Philipstown Recreation that made that happen. The next meeting of the Recreation Commission is August 25th at 7:30. It will be, I believe, a Zoom meeting.
Great. Thank you. Thanks to
Welcome.
everybody who helped out there. Philipstown Hub.
The Hub had a Philipstown overdose prevention training on July 28th, which was a Narcan training. And I believe attendance and participation was pretty good. I think Danielle was going to try to be on tonight's Zoom call.
Yeah,
Danielle,
Judy, hi, Judy. I'm on. Sorry, I don't know why. For some reason, my video is not working. So can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. So yes, we had almost 30 people attend that Narcan training, which was a great turnout for us and for the community. So we are really going to try to make those a regular part of the services that we offer right at the Hub, virtually, especially during this time.
Thank you, Danielle.
And Judy, if you don't mind, this is August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. The Hub is hosting an online virtual remembrance at our website. So you can go to philipstownhub.org to post a name of a loved one and a remembrance in honor of International Overdose Awareness Day. We've been saddened this month due to news about local overdose. And I want to just keep reminding the community that these issues of overdose, addiction, mental health don't go away just because we're in the middle of a pandemic. And if anything, it's harder for people to access services. So please spread the word about the hub, about the work that the town's doing with having an addiction resource coordinator. The more that we can get people through the door earlier as they're dealing with issues, the better.
And the door is open. The office is open.
Yes, the door is open, and we are actually in the midst of having some official office hours because we just hired an additional part-time person who's taking care of some of the care coordination. So we are working towards having by the end of the month 9 to 5 hours, Monday through Friday at the hub.
Wow, it's a big move. Thank you.
Yes,
It is,
thank-
yeah. So we're really excited about that, and we're also going to be having a master's level social work intern from September till May, and so we're hoping to offer some groups. She already has her master's in education, and so it's kind of hit the ground running, and we're hoping to offer some groups, especially for people going through this time, high anxiety, and people really coping with reopening and how that looks for them.
And people should call 845-260-1001, Danielle, if they need
That's
help.
that's my work cell. Yep, that's my town work cell, and that's confidential voicemail or text. The Philipstown Hub's landline is 845-809-5050, and so they can get us that way as well.
And Danielle, if I could just remind everybody that the drug drop-off box is accessible at Town Hall. You can either make an appointment with the town clerk, or you can knock on the door and they will accept the drugs and place them in the drop box.
Thank you, John, and thanks for coordinating that. I know Town Hall is working hard to keep that going, even in the midst of everything going on, so I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for everything you're doing, Danielle.
Thanks, John.
All
Thank
right,
you.
terrific. Thanks, everybody. Planning Board, thanks, Judy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. The planning board did meet on July 16th via Zoom. I must say the Zoom meeting with the 2 public hearings went off without a hitch. It was very successful, and Kelly did a great job by organizing everybody and bringing them in when necessary. So I'd like to say thank you to her and everyone from the planning board as well. We had some ground rules at the beginning of this meeting. Neil Zuckerman, the chairman, said we were going to cut it off at 9:30 because we knew there was going to be a lot of activity and a lot of people wanting to talk. So anyway, that's what we did. Anyway, okay, the first thing on the agenda, we returned to escrow of Glenn Ferdato at 385 Indian Brook Road, Garrison. That was approved. Pel Lombardi, 19 Fieldstone Ridge, Cold Spring. That was not approved at this particular time. From what I understand, there's still some outstanding issues. Okay, on to the public hearings. I've been reporting on this one for the last several months. CSR International Warehouse, 2661 Route 9 in Cold Spring. Anyway, the public hearing, there was quite a few people that attended the public hearing, and most of the comments were relatively pretty much the same. But the public hearing was held, many citizens spoke. Many of the concerns were related to entrance and exiting of the trucks. They're gonna have 53-foot tractor trailers in there at any one time. They can hold up to 7 tractor trailers there at one time. They can unload and unload one at the same simultaneously if they're necessary, but they don't anticipate having any type of backup with trucks trying to enter and exit the facility. The biggest concern again is there enough time to stop the trucks. There was a traffic consultant on. He indicated that they need 500 feet in order to stop a tractor trailer. He's indicating they have 625. The other concern is the trucks entering and exiting if they need to go across the Route 9 double line, especially if a truck pulling out and heading north. He's got to cross over the double yellow line, and there's concerns about that. But according to the traffic people, there should not be an issue because they have plenty of space there as well. Other concerns regarding that were one of the citizens indicated he was in this industry before and they can schedule deliveries if necessary. It's something that brought up. They don't want trucks coming here at 6 o'clock in the morning and leaving coming here at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. But the facility is going to be business hours, basically 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening. Other concerns there were about landscaping. There's a couple residents right around that area. They did show the landscape design, and it looked to me, there was a lot of trees, a lot of bushes. So I think most people seem to be happy with the design so far. But as you know, sometimes that doesn't go all the way through with planting everything they need to. So there'll be big watching on that. Also, too, they need to replace the septic tank that was installed there a long time ago. Even though those fields were never used before, the septic tank back then now needs a large one. So they have to take that one out and put a larger one in. Again, the public hearing remained open. And people can do writing comments, and it's going to be picked up again at next month's meeting. Second item on the agenda was another public hearing, which I discussed last month as well. That's up in Lake Valhalla. There's a subdivision of 770 acres into 3 parcels. Parcel A is a 520 acre parcel, which would be conservation and easement be conveyed to New York State. Parcel B is 190 acres. This is with a small recreation area. This is where all the residents have their homes today. And parcel C is a 50 acre parcel, which is already the one structure on it now and a few outbuildings on it as well. Many of the citizens that spoke about this are concerned if they take this 520 acres and turn it over to the state, and the state makes it a state park, the concerns are people going through up Lake Valhalla, using this 520 acres as a state park for trails and so forth like that. Also, the 190 acre parcel, which is going to go to the HOA. There is no HOA approved right now at this particular time. They need to establish that. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on this as well. Like I said, both public hearings remained open, and writing comments, and we'll pick it up again at the next meeting. One other item on the agenda was charred Andrew Mott, 120 Skyline Drive in Cold Spring. This was approved many months ago, but they just wanted to go back to the planning board to get their colors approved, and they're going with a siding Bohemian black, and it was approved 7-0. The meeting was closed at 9:45, and the next meeting is a week from this Thursday, August 20th, 7:30 via Zoom. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Zoning.
Zoning, there was 2 zoning board meetings since we last met. On July 13th, Dennis Clark and Denise Grillo, 28 Lane Gate Road, Cold Spring. The application was to seek a variance to replace a deck which violated setbacks. This application was reviewed and found complete and scheduled for public hearing on August 10th. There was also an application for Ryan Maxwell, 48 Old Albany Post Road, Garrison, seeking several variances to his one-family home. This application also was found complete, and a public hearing was scheduled for August 10th. Both public hearings were held on August 10th, and both of these appeals were heard and approved. There was also another application review on August 10th, I'm sorry. Chris Flagg and Heidi Snyder, 699 Old Albany Post Road. Application is for a variance for a proposed addition to their one-family home. This application was approved under the condition that a denial letter be added to the application file from the town code enforcer. This one was scheduled for a public hearing at the next meeting, which is on Monday, September 14th via Zoom.
All right.
That's it.
Highway.
I do not have the highway report. I was supposed to grab that from Carl and I never got it. So it's my problem, but I'll get him one, and I'm sure he's had an update since it would have been in the file last week because of the storm. They were quite busy last week. I'd like to thank them. The roads were all reopened as of Wednesday morning, excluding ones that had power lines on them. But everything else, trees were cleared, roads were open. We didn't have a whole lot of washout. It was mostly trees down with wires. So they did whatever they could to clear the roads, excluding the ones where there were wires or possibly live wires on them. So.
Right, that's the thing that the public needs to understand is we can't touch a tree with a wire on it.
Correct.
Or a tree on wires, so too dangerous. And my heart goes out to everybody who lost power for an extended period of time. Believe me, the town board realizes when the power's out, we're making calls, we're on with the dispatcher. We're pushing as hard as we can for the public, but there's only so much we can do, really.
I was in contact several times with Eric, what's his name? I have his name. Robin Moore of Central Hudson. He is the representative for our area. He was very responsive several times late at night. Even he would text back or call me back. They were overwhelmed. We got hit with a lot of wind in a short period of time. They
Yep.
did get out and do what they could. They kept bringing more and more people in. But I don't know if it's acceptable for people to be without power till Friday. Although other areas, there's still people without power. So they did what they could, I guess, and it was just extreme circumstances.
Yeah, I think they got caught a little off guard this time. Generally, they're better than this.
Yes.
This time I will agree, they were a little slower in the response time. And I saw, still on Tuesday of this week, I saw trucks rolling down 84 from New Hampshire. So they're still working, but it isn't acceptable to have your power be out for a week from one storm. This isn't the middle of winter. And it was a storm, but it was hardly, it wasn't that big of a storm. I know it was widespread, trees came down in critical areas. And then during the whole thing, I understand there was a fire at one of the power generating stations.
Correct.
That added to the whole tragedy of the thing. But I hope everybody's back on. If you're not, you could always call my office and we'll push to get you help.
One other thing I'd like to mention while we're on this topic is we've opened up the Emergency Coordination Center in the past in the North Islands Firehouse. It is the town Emergency Coordination Center. We decided, I spoke with County Coordinator Falloon, we decided not to open it this time because we weren't expecting that much damage. At any point, any of the fire departments could have contacted me and we would have gladly opened it up. As I said, we did not open it, but the key to opening this and the key with Central Hudson is we need to get the county to cooperate to bring the Central Hudson rep out of Carmel to Cold Spring, somewhere in our area. All of the Central Hudson customers are in the town of Philipstown. He should not be in Carmel, but this is something that I did speak with the representative from Central Hudson about, and we really got to push with the county, even if it's a joint effort between the fire districts, the villages, and the town, to get this representative here. If you have an emergency, we can get a Central Hudson crew to follow the fire trucks or lead the fire trucks and the town trucks to clear roads and make sure power lines are dead so that ambulances and the fire trucks can proceed. So we're going to work on it again. We were close with the last emergency coordinator, so I'm going to try again to get this to happen. It seems to be an obvious issue every time there's a storm. So.
Yeah, and I mean, look, if they want to send somebody to sit over in Carmel, that's fine. He's not going to be as effective, but we do need somebody here.
Right. I understand the unified command and they want to keep it all centralized in the county, but it would be much more effective in my eyes if this representative were in Philipstown somewhere.
Absolutely.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks, John. Building and land acquisition, town hall's moving ahead. The elevator's installed, the stairs are in. We're hoping that the new floors are going to start going down. It's been a lot slower as of late than we hoped for, but we did have a recent meeting with the contractor to urge him along. If he would man the job correctly, we'd be moving along further and faster, but we're still looking at, October for getting back in. So it's good progress. The work is fine, but there's just not enough of it right now. We need to get the siding taken off. So the delay is, right now, it is not the town's fault, it's the contractor's fault. And we urge him to get it together and move along. But like I say, the place looks good. It's going to be a much more pleasant experience.
Yep.
And, having the elevator in there is a huge, huge change for us. So we're also kicking off the highway garage. I know we had a kickoff meeting, John. I didn't attend that. If you want to comment on that.
I did. We met with the several engineering firms as well as Justin Caker. It was basically a kickoff meeting. They're all going to, Justin is away this week, but the plans have been finalized. They're off to the separate engineers for them to put together the final specs, which can be then put out to contract or put out to bid for contract. So hopefully in a short period of time, we'll get it turned around and get it out to bid.
Yeah, one positive aspect, or many positive aspects of that job, but one big one is, since we own equipment, we have qualified operators. We'll be able to do the demolition, the excavation, the trenching. So
Right.
There's going to be some savings there. But we're hoping to kick that project off this fall. If we don't, it won't be the end of the world, but it would be really nice to.
Right. Or hope we have a winter like we did last year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly right. Cemetery committee.
Okay, the cemetery committee had a site visit on July 22nd. They met actually at the village cemeteries. If you know, in the past, obviously, we diverted back to the North Highlands Cemetery because we had structural problems. The committee wished to go back to the village cemeteries. So I had a discussion with the stonemason, and he assured me that all of these structural issues that could be a real threat in North Highlands have been resolved now. So we're going to be moving back to doing the village cemeteries in the near future. We spent a lot of time social distancing, but around the General Morris crypt, we've given up the idea of doing the exact replica iron fencing on top. We discussed how much we would do, certain portions of it and so forth, but we came pretty much to the agreement we would try to use the material that was used on the gate that actually leads into that area. And obviously we did tour, and if you've been in the cemetery, the two of them, first of all, they look very good, thanks to Tony from Habitat, and obviously from the stonemason in the past, but we have ones that have been started. Some of these have to go way down in their foundation, so it really gives you appreciation if you go look there to see how much work is really done with these. But basically, we'll be starting with those as well. I want to thank the Evansville Mayor, Mike Bowman, and his family, who was passing by during our meeting and commented on the cemeteries, how well they were, so I take that. And our next meeting will be in September. I'm not exactly sure of the exact date yet, because I want to do another site visit. That's it, thanks.
Thanks, Mike. Putnam County Legislator.
I believe Nancy is still in a county meeting. She had
Oh, okay.
texted and said she was still in a county meeting.
All right, let's move on to the agenda.
First item on the agenda is a resolution approving the Garrison Volunteer Ambulance Corps 2019 sponsor approval form for the length of service program award program.
Okay, this is something we do every year. This is a small perk that volunteers get for going out and performing emergency services. I've reviewed the report that goes with it. These things stay pretty steady. You get the Corps volunteers who are out there all the time. You know, a couple names that keep coming up all the time. Derek Tudor, of course. He does a tremendous amount of work with the ambulance corps. We really appreciate all the volunteers. John, you have anything to add to this?
I looked at it myself. There's appears to be 8 members that reached the minimum of 50 points, so there'll be 8 people receiving credit this year.
Yeah. So we're happy to support this program. So with that, could I get a motion approving the Garrison Volunteer Ambulance Corps?
I'll make that
So-
motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Aye.
The next item is a resolution adopting the new retention and disposition schedule for New York local government records, the LGS-1.
Tara, are you very excited about this?
I mean, I kind of am, because I don't know much about the old one, being new to this position. So it kind of makes it easier for me with the new, you know what I mean? The new retention schedule. So.
Right. You're going to let us get rid of more stuff?
It's kind of like you can get rid of more of this, but you have to keep more of this. So.
Oh, geez. Well, this is something we're mandated to do by the state of New York about records retention. So it's a fairly pro forma piece of business, but I know Tara will be delving into it, and I know I won't. But could I get a motion on that resolution approving the local government records LGS-1?
So moved.
Second.
I'll
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 The next item is a resolution authorizing the release of the cash performance bond for Indian Brook LLC, Glenn Ferdico, as recommended by the Philipstown Planning Board.
Okay, terrific. So the planning board has authorized this release, so we're comfortable in okaying this. Could I get a motion on the resolution authorizing the release of that bond?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Thank you.
The next item is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign a filming permit for AP Studios, Inc. event to begin July 23rd through July 24th, 2020 at 40 High Ridge Road in Garrison, New York, and this is Nunc Pro Tem.
Again, they keep missing out on the local talent here, you know? Got a lot of local talent right on this board. I think if they took a look around, these could be some higher quality productions, but never get that call. Anybody else get a call about this?
Nope.
No? Well, it's their loss. So with that, I guess we'll approve that filming permit. We do get a fee for every one of these permits, and it's good to get that money in our coffers for not a lot of impact. Could I get a motion on a resolution for the film permit?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you.
The next item is a resolution adopting local law number 1 of 2020 entitled the Town of Philipstown Temporary Moratorium on New Land Use Development on Properties Located on Upland Drive, Ridge Road, and Cliffside Court. And this is a roll call vote.
How can it be that we're 8 months into the year and it's just number 1? Must be doing something right here.
They had bigger fish to fry.
Yes, we have had much larger fish to fry, but this is important to us, important to the residents. It gives us a little breathing room so we can figure out what the residents want to do there. If they're going to get it together and present the town with a petition. Mike, I know you were going to look into that. You're muted, Mike.
All right. Yeah, no, I did write a detailed description of everything to Steve Gaba and filling him in on the actual details, what we're concerned with, what we have done so far, what potential problems there are. So, you know, to give him an idea of exactly the scope and what we're looking at, and along with, you know, obviously he's aware of the residents' concerns as well.
So let's stay on that. The clock starts ticking, obviously, tonight. We would like to resolve this. If we can inform the residents of their responsibility, then they'll be able to act and, you know, push this thing ahead or not. So we're going to pass this tonight, I assume, and then the clock starts ticking on the moratorium. We don't want to have this go on forever because you have to justify these things. But if a majority of the residents come to the town and say they would like this to become a town road, and we can discuss it, look at all the aspects of it, and make a decision as a board. Is there anybody from the public who wants to comment on this?
Right now, I don't have any hands up and I don't have any requests in the chat.
This is the reason we're doing this meeting on Zoom. So there you have it. Thank you. All right. So this is a roll call vote. Resolution adopting local law 1 of 2020, the Town of Philipstown temporary moratorium on new land use development on properties located on Upland Drive, Ridge Road, and Cliffside Court. This is new land use. This is not for existing properties. So with that, could I get a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
So it'll be a roll call. Councilman Van Tassel,
I vote aye.
Councilwoman Farrell,
You're muted.
You're muted.
I vote aye.
Councilman Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Leonard,
Aye.
and I vote aye. So let the record show we have unanimous consent on this resolution. There is a moratorium as of this moment on those properties listed in this resolution. Mike, if you would follow up with Steve and get the information to the residents, that would be really helpful.
Okay, will do.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda is a resolution approving the following one change order as amended for the town hall renovation project in the amount of $7,650, and that is for cabinetry changes and additions for PBS construction.
So this is a real change to the scope. This is when we rearranged the first floor of the building. We wound up changing the cabinetry layout. This is all going to be cabinetry for storage in the clerk's office. I know we had some input from you, Tara, right? So you'll be happy with that. It'll function better. But there were other change orders in this go-around that we rejected outright and we're not going to pursue. We just felt like they were abusive and trying to take advantage of us. So we got rid of them. But this one, we all reviewed it. We reviewed it with the architect, we reviewed it with the clerk of the works, who was our building inspector, and we felt like it was a fair change. It's a complete addition of cabinetry. There was no custom cabinetry involved before. So anybody can hear my dog in the back squeaking on a squeaky toy. That's him. But it is a fair change order. So John, what do you think about that?
I agree. It's not only the purchase and supplying of the cabinets, but it's also installation. So I think it's a fair price for what we've selected.
Yeah. All right. With that, could I get a motion on that resolution so they can proceed?
So moved.
Second.
I'll
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye.
My dog votes aye.
This meeting's going to the dogs.
The next item is a resolution approving the draft license agreement and authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign said lease agreement and any documents necessary for recording it for the New Leaf Restoration Community Garden. And this, again, is a roll call vote.
So we had this on last month. It went back to the planning board, to the Recreation Commission for their final consent and approval. We have that. I know there were some concerns about making sure they stay within the surveyed area. We're going to make sure that happens. I did speak with OSI and Scenic Hudson again regarding the conservation areas and assuring them that we're not going to be in there. So with that, I'm comfortable signing this agreement if the board is comfortable moving it ahead.
Yes.
If the Rec Commission is supporting it, then I'm certainly behind it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great program.
Yeah. So it's
Yes,
been a-
the Rec Commission is enthusiastic about it, I believe, and
yes.
grateful to New Leaf and Tim Donovan for pushing this forward and presenting it to the public.
Yeah. And as an aside, we had the field mowed down there last week. And Randy Wills went down and cut it. I think it was $700. But it's good to keep the weeds down there and keep there's really a lot of invasives there. We're trying to keep those tamped down. And if you cut it enough, well, you will eventually just get grass. So that's another positive to this. So with that, could I get a motion supporting that resolution?
So moved.
This will be roll call.
Second.
Councilman Leonard.
Aye.
Councilwoman Farrell.
I vote aye.
Councilman Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilman Van Tassel.
I vote aye.
And I vote aye. So let the record show we have unanimous consent on that.
Hey, also, they had a nice little presentation about a solar power pumping system for that location as well, which I attended.
Wow.
It looked like a pretty nice setup, to be honest. Needed 4 solar panels, basically is all is required. And there's different kinds of pumps you could use, but it was a very informative presentation that they had.
That's great.
Yeah, I agree. I attended it too. I think it was very well done.
Terrific. All right. Right now, I don't want to have anything to schedule. Does anybody have something they'd like to schedule? I mean, are we going to schedule something for East Mountain Road?
Correct.
So, I mean, the sooner we do that, the better. You want to do it next week?
Fine with me.
I'm away next week.
Well, let's
You
do it
can-
the following week then.
Okay.
I'm away the following week, but whenever you want to schedule it.
Well, let's never do it then.
Well, is it gonna be in person or a Zoom?
Let's do it in person.
Okay.
So do we want to do the 19th or the 26th? Sorry.
Let's do the 19th. I don't want to put it off so long that, if we're going to put Carl in a bad position.
Yeah, if we got.
I'd like to resolve this one way or another.
Okay. So the 19th in person, we'll do 7:30 at the rec center?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to schedule something, but Richard, presented everybody the solar panels for the rec center. If we
Yeah.
need to have a workshop to have that guy come in again and speak to us, I could set that up. Or should I just send it? I know you wanted to get it over to Steve Gabish. Do you want me to send it over to him?
Yeah,
What's your-
send it over to Steve and have him review it first, because he'll have the most, pertinent questions. But
Okay,
it's, to me, it's fairly involved, the layout. As long as there's no upfront money from the town and we're getting cheaper electricity, then, why not be on board with it?
yeah, no, but it's a big change from what it was what I presented over a year or so ago. There's no money out front at all whatsoever. So
Right.
it's 12 cents per kilowatt hour for the next 25 years. These panels are rated for 25 years, and we'll put it this way, they're rated for 40 years, but under warranty for 25 years.
Right.
At the
And
end of
they're finding that they are lasting. I mean, there's some of the solar panels. I just read an article on the green energy site, and a guy took 30-year-old panels down to retest them, and they were running at 30 years. They were running at 94% still.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
they
so-
do, and those are 30-year-old panels. So
Yeah.
it's
So-
come a long way. I have high confidence level that in 40 years we'll still be running between 95 and 100%. So
Yeah, and at the end of the 25 years, you can buy it out, but the chances of them coming, if we don't buy it for like $9,000, they have to come and deinstall it. So I think it would be in our best interest that we'll play it. Well, I won't be around in 25 years, but someone will be. I'm
there you
sure
go.
they'll
Come
make,
Yeah, you will.
someone will make the right decision. I'm sure if we didn't have to pay them, they're not going to come in and take it off. So
Well,
I think it's.
How about it,
I'll
right?
send it over to Steve, and we'll take it from there.
yeah, that would be good. It's been a long time coming, but thanks for all your work on that, Bob. That's been great. It'll be a great advancement for us.
Thanks.
All right.
Next up is the Code Enforcement Monthly Report. Both the village and the town.
Somebody want to get that?
So for the town of Philipstown, this is for July 2020, the fees collected were $98,575. There were 33 permits issued, 1 new 1 or 2 family dwelling, 4 additions, alterations or repairs to residential buildings, 28 all other permits, pools, decks, sheds, plumbing, HVAC, etc. 45 certificates of occupancy, 3 inspections of public assembly, and 1 inspection of commercial occupancies. And Greg would like to thank the building department administrative clerk, Linda Valentino, for all her work and commitment, especially during the COVID-19 shutdown, having not missed a single day of work during the shutdown.
Wow.
That's great.
And
Yeah, Linda's great too. I mean, she's just, she's the ultimate in public employee. Just a well-rounded, pleasant person. Can't do enough for anybody who comes in. If you go in with an issue, Linda's going to solve it for you, or at least give it her best shot. But I think anybody who knows Linda knows that what a find she was for the town.
She certainly is.
While we're on buildings, I know there's still the village report to do. The village has decided to pull out of the agreement between the town and the village. They're going to go their own way again, which is fine. And if they're not happy with the service, they have every right to do that. So just letting everybody know that publicly, they've given us notice, so that clock is ticking. I think they have probably about 50 days left in the agreement. Greg's going to help them with the transition, bring down some files. Whoever is going to take over, he'll prime them on what they need to know, and then they'll be back in the business of inspecting Butterfield and the other areas.
Matter of fact, Richard, I happened to be down at Village Hall today. The new building inspector started today. It's a lady.
Good.
So I'm confused. We're going to continue to do the Butterfield inspections?
No,
No.
No, so we're doing nothing.
Well, I guess they got like a 50-day window.
Yeah.
That's what Richard's indicated. So we'll help them for the next 50 days, I guess.
yeah, during the transition period. Yeah.
Great. Okay. I don't quite understand it, but it's good.
Sometimes
figure.
that's the way the cookie crumbles.
It's true.
Must have been an agreement somewhere that we have that.
Yeah,
whole thing.
what are you gonna do?
We'll see. All right.
Tara, sorry, we're busting in on you here.
that's all right. So for the Village of Cold Spring, the Code Enforcement Monthly Report, There were $2,090 in fees collected. I believe that's 13 permits issued, 9 additions, alterations, or repairs to residential buildings, 4 all other permits, 4 certificates of occupancy, 1 stop work order issued, and 2 operating permits issued.
Our thanks to Greg Winter for that, the code enforcement officer. You know, he's been busy, but things seem to be running pretty smooth, especially with all this activity and the fact that we took in nearly $100,000 last month. That indicates a real uptick in activity. And I know there's been a lot of action in the real local real estate market and people wanting to get things done. So it's a good thing we have the robust building department that we do have. Does the board have anything else?
I was contacted by the Continental Village Volunteer Fire Department in reference to a Westchester County radio contract, which we need to discuss and get back to them so they can get this process underway. Apparently, Westchester emailed our office. I haven't seen anything, but we can talk about it tomorrow.
All right. Well, we'll get it done.
Yep.
Yep.
I just want to remind people too, to complete their census forms. The census is ending September 30th. It's really important to get the census in if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, Judy, thank you. Thanks for reminding the public. I mean, this is how, you know, congressional seats are apportioned, and this is how money is allocated to areas, including ours. So if you don't get an accurate count, you're not going to get the money back from the federal government that you want, and you're not going to be able to, you know, proceed with capital projects and school funding and all the things that we all rely on, especially now. So please, please do fill out your census forms. It's super important, even though it may not seem that way. This is how you are represented in the government, you know, both state and federal. Anything else from the board? I see we had Nat Prentice up there. Nat, hello. I saw your face up there in the big screen for a moment. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Can you hear me? Yes.
We can, yes, Nat.
Just wanted to give you a quick update on the comprehensive plan update, and I also we need your help on an aspect of it. I think this will be helped. It's easy enough for you all, I hope, to provide, but we're proceeding with the notion that by the end of the year, we're going to turn something over to you that can be, will represent our couple of years worth of work. I mean, it's going to be a scramble to get all that done, but we think we can. We need to do one last thing, and that is we are missing or feel like we have some gaps in our understanding of what the residents want and need. So we're out with what will be our final survey. Not that the town needs another survey, but I think this is particularly focused on some questions about housing, some questions about economic development, some questions about infrastructure. Hope to fill in the gap. We're open on that survey. It's posted to the Philipstown2020.org website, and as such, it's also posted on the town's homepage, because Tara has very nicely put a section for the comprehensive plan, and if you click that button, you get to the updated website. But our hope is that you would help us do some other things too, to promote responses. I've got a plan that includes the libraries and the newspapers and anybody else you can think of, but I was hoping that maybe you'd let me follow up with Tara and we could get this on as many town channels as we can, you know, perhaps the cable channel, perhaps I don't know whether you all have a email list or how you handle that, but whatever help you could give us to generate responses to this survey would be great. We're going to leave it open until the end of September. Bob and Mike have taken the survey. We needed to whittle it down a little bit. The first version was a little long and unwieldy. This can be done in 15, 20 minutes. I think it's going to be useful, but gosh, the town has had a number of surveys, you know, all of which have been very useful. When we write this comprehensive plan, in the end, we will have detailed all those engagements. So the things that the Community Congress did, and the and the Climate Smart Task Force did. I mean, we will roll them all up in an inventory of public engagement since the writing of the last comprehensive plan, so that we can support all of those efforts. So that's it. Just wanted you to be willing, or at least feel comfortable that this survey is going to provide some useful information, and anything that you all can do to help us generate responses is much appreciated.
Yeah, Nat, stop by and see Tara. She's got a email blast list that she has, and no problem put it on the list.
Well, I want to make sure that you guys all give her, so Tara, I'll be on to you tomorrow, and we'll, or whenever you can, and we'll get this done, okay?
Thanks, Nat. I know it's been a lot of work on the whole committee over the last 2 years. It's thank you.
Well, I think I was picking this up from Richard. This can't. We may need to. This may need to go on another year while we all discuss it. But we've got to give you something that we can tee up and expose the public to, and see what remains to be done. But the committee's getting a little tired. If you have a committee open for a couple of years, pretty soon they're going to get tired, and we need to get something done. It may not be final, but hopefully it'll be enough to take it to the next step.
Well, thanks, Nat.
Thanks, Nat.
On behalf of the whole board, and thank you and the whole group. It's a tough slog to come up with a new comprehensive plan. So I know you've put in a lot of hours, and we've met privately and spoken about it many times. So we're anticipating a great new plan.
Right. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. All right. Approval of vouchers. General.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna vote aye. Highway.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Continental Village Park District.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Continental Village Water District.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Without anybody else, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Thank you, Cecile, for setting us up.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Night.
Have a great night.
Yeah, everybody have a good night.
Night. Be well.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.